in a place where I'm like, I need like one or two, more people outside of myself to help out. Just kind of like on a regular basis, just because it's getting crazy. Like, I think for the holidays, I'm going to get like, somebody to help me like box up these orders. But next year, I definitely do see myself ordering or hiring maybe two people to just kind of help me get there, because I can't do everything by myself anymore. I'm finally at the point where I'm letting go. And that's a big step in entrepreneurship, like letting go.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today, you guys, I have Elondia Harden of ElonWick Candle Company. She's going to give us the game on candles. Elondia, how are you doing?
I'm good, Kellen. How are you feeling today?
I am great. How about yourself?
I'm feeling good. I'm sitting here chatting with you, and I got my hot tea with me, so I'm feeling good.
Okay, let me tell the people how I found you. I'm just listening, on Clubhouse. I'm a shy guy, Elondia, so I'm just listening on Clubhouse, and I'm like listening, and then you come on and someone says, I know you're doing some candles, and she's like, yep, I'm doing them. And I said, wait, this person is working and doing candles and on Clubhouse, and next thing we know, maybe Joe Button, Tiffany Haddish, or Kevin Hart might jump on a line. You never know, right? And so I said, let me get some candle game, and I want to know, how did you get started in this? How long have you been doing this?
So I've been making candles ever since October of 2015. And my story is simply like, it literally started from a dream. It was like, I think September of that year. I had a dream that I was at this festival called the Savannah Black Heritage Festival. It's an annual festival every year during Black History Month. It's my favorite event of the year in the city. I was walking down the aisle looking at the different booths, and I saw this booth that had candles, which is different because I don't think in any of my years going, I've ever seen a booth with candles. They were big, like 12-ounce jars, mason jars, and the dye was different colors. I remember seeing the decorations on the table, and every time I tried to touch the jar was too hot. Like, it was hot. It was a regular candle, cool with the wick, no fire, but I couldn't pick up the jar. I couldn't touch it. And I remember like what I was wearing, all that stuff. And then maybe a month later, out of nowhere, on my way home from work, I was like, I think I'm going to start making candles. So I went to the craft store like the next day. I went to Hobby Lobby with the little 40% off coupon or 35% off coupon, whatever it is, and a couple of dollars. And I picked up some supplies, started making candles, and I haven't stopped. And 3 months later, after that, that day that I started making the candles, I was at that same event with the same outfit I dreamt about. And I made the same candles that were in my dream. And I was actually able to touch them and sell them to customers, but I haven't stopped since then.
Wow. So you, got bit by the candle bug, and your wick was lit. Hold on. All pun intended.
That was clever. I like that a
lot. Okay. What do you think it is? Is it about the process, the smell, or is it that you don't have to go in and, clock in at any other job and can just kind of be in your own zone? Like, why candles?
Honestly, I have no idea. At the time when I started the candles, I just wanted to do something to kind of like have an outlet. I worked in the medical field, and I felt like just burnt out from that. So I wanted to try something different. I considered going to cosmetology school. I considered going back to school and finishing like a nursing degree. But just God just was like, nah, sis, you about to go do these candles. And so, it stuck with me, and just the process, the making of the candles, and listening to my neo soul music, and just having like a whole vibe going while I make the candles, making them with love. Like, it's a passion project, if you will. And being able to ship them out all over the world is the best thing ever. So I don't plan on stopping until I stop breathing. So.
Oh, I love to hear that. But it's like a movie, and I know you're too young to remember this movie, but if you build it, they will come. How, just because you built it, was there ever any doubt that people would actually purchase? Because people make stuff every day, but to
Right.
have them actually, purchase it and make a living, like, what was that process like?
When I first started, no one told me that, you shouldn't expect like I think your nuclear village to be the first ones to kind of jump. But I remember I made like a little short list. I had like 5 fragrances that I was making. I made like a little spreadsheet table on Microsoft Word, and I printed it out like it was like a sign up sheet, like a fundraising sheet, right? That was the only thing I do because, I'm a church girl, I'm a Girl Scout. Like it was all those little lists that you had to fill out and check the boxes or whatever you needed. So I did that. And I had a few relatives support. I had a few church members support. And then my friends from college and my coworkers really showed out. And in the beginning, I will say, like, as someone who had like this big dream and was super excited about it, in my mind, I felt like the people that were closest to me or the people that I held the closest to my heart should have been the ones that just jump and support. But that's just something I think every entrepreneur has to learn, that, your people closest to you, family, friends, whoever, they're not always your customer. And sometimes they just have to see the value in what you do before they support. And that's with anything. Like, we're all consumers. So, sometimes we're just not going to put our money towards everything. But that was what I had to learn. But I'm grateful because the same people that were there in the beginning are still here now.
Man, Mike Jones, back then they didn't know you. Now you're hot. They all are on you. I mean, that
So
is that is the truth. Because that inner circle, it takes, being on the news or being on something and, hey, what's up with those candles? And, are you single?
No, I'm not single.
Oh, you're not single because when you smell like candles, you're going to attract the right one. But they knew you were smelling like candles and you knew what I was doing and you didn't come be the first purchase. Now, today, do you even count how many candles you've made?
Yeah, I've made several thousand. Like we're in the 10,000s now. Like I've made several. It's just 5 years now. Like I've made so many.
And how can you, how many can you make in a day?
Well, it depends on how early I get up. I can make anywhere from, one little batch of 12 to 24 candles, or I can make, about 900 candles. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day or what I have going on. But because it's the holidays, any chance I get, I'm pouring. So.
Wow, that's a lot of candles, and I want to just put a warning out. This business, I love to inspire you, but if you're like me and you got sometimes that Steve Urkel effect where you might be a little clumsy, you might want to get some help and really like master this. Because have you ever burned yourself on candles?
Not only candles. When I first started, I would use a hot glue gun to secure the wick into the jar. And I have a few, I think they've kind of healed up, but I had a few scars from where like the hot glue like dropped on like my hand or something like that. Or might have touched it and didn't notice. But that was it. But the hot wax is soy wax. So, you can use it as a massage candle if you want to. It's just, it depends on what type of vibe you're in. It doesn't burn. It doesn't burn me.
Okay, so you can get your 50 Shades of Grey on with this wax.
You could, but I would say with the natural waxes, like soy, beeswax, coconut wax, stuff like that. I would go that way with that.
And please, people, listen to the words of the natural wax, because if you're like me and like, oh, there's a difference, and you get the wrong one, I don't want you blaming, me. Blame me because I brought it up.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, but you've been doing this for 5 years. You're not single. You have a child, yes?
I do. I have a son. Yes.
Okay. How do you, do your business? Because a lot of folks, men and women will say, oh, I'm not like you. I can't do it because I have kids, because I decided to have kids, right? Because the store didn't bring them to us. I have 2 myself. So How do you deal with being able to be an entrepreneur full time and then being a mother and, you know, having a spouse and doing all that?
Well, when it comes to motherhood, that's my, even though I've had my business longer than I've had a child, being a mother is the top priority, right? So, last year I actually got let go from a full-time job, which was like my first time ever getting fired. That was in August of last year. And, you know, I had to kind of make a decision, like, am I going to stick with my dream? I'm going to stick with this gift that God gave me? Or am I going to like try to go back to somebody's job and make this work with this infant child that I have? And so I just made a decision to just push it. And it wasn't until maybe a few months ago that I made the decision to put my son into daycare. So that way I can be able to, when he's in a good environment, and not saying home isn't, but I'm just saying he's in a learning environment and he has a social life. And I'm able to get a lot of things done during the day. Because a lot of times if I'm meeting with potential retailers, I can't take my toddler in those meetings, you know? So, you know, I feel so much better now. In the beginning, the thought of putting him in daycare made me feel a little bit of mom guilt. I felt really bad. I was like, I don't want to feel like I'm throwing my child off. But it was a good decision. It's a good investment because he's learning. Like, he's learning more than what I could just teach him at home. You know, he has his friends now. I'm able to get more work done. And now it's not so much of me taking care of my child and my business. It is my business taking care of me and my child. And so I'm really glad that I stuck with that. And for anyone that's, you know, still struggling with that, you just sit and have a moment with yourself. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for your decision. And yes, your children are always going to be the priority, but at the end of the day, if your business could help take care of your child, figure out a way to make it work. Because once you do, and once you take that step, I promise it'll work for you.
And you know, that mom guilt and bringing kids to meetings, I just have to throw this out here because I was talking to a team member yesterday, and it's different when women bring their children to a meeting. Not that I didn't even realize it, but with my two kids, my wife was, you know, living her best dream, getting her, you know, her dream going. And I told her, all you need to do is pop them out. I told her that, you know, 18 years ago. So just pop them out. I got them. Don't worry. Right. But when I would bring my kids to a meeting, and I brought them all, you know, in the carrier, right? That's how I got some of this muscle. And I'm looked at as, oh, what a great dad. Oh, do you do it by yourself? Oh, if I was single, I would have cleaned up. I tell you, people, you know. And so it's just different how, you know, men bringing our children, where if you bring your child to a meeting, oh, she must be a baby mama, ain't got nobody. She, you know, and it's just that's not right. That's not right.
Yeah. And you know, for me, like it was a little difficult because I'll never forget, I used to teach like candle making classes, and this was last year in September. My babysitter basically flaked, and so I had no other choice but to take my child with me. So I did, you know, I taught the class with my son on my hip. And my customers know my son. They know how like he will be when he was a newborn, you know, 2 weeks to a month old. I had him in a little carrier strapped to me while I was boxing up orders and taking them to the post office. So when they see him, they're like, "Oh, it's your coworker." I'm like, "No, he's actually my boss. Okay, I work for him." But you know, you do have that, I guess, the difference in the perception between moms and dads. And for me, like, I don't like to call myself a quote unquote baby mama, but I am. So like I have my son, and then in the moments where, you know, before daycare, my parents were available because they both work, you know, for them, well, basically for themselves. Like they're able to watch him and help me out. But outside of that, you know, I did feel like, you know, a couple of times people were just kind of like, you didn't have any help. And in real life, no, I didn't have help like during certain hours. So I hate that. I wish that it would change. I wish that mothers would give them more grace, because we give so much of ourselves. Like, we were a mother, you know, the moment we found out we were pregnant. So just show us some grace. Okay. Our bodies went through a lot. We don't get to sleep. we are 24 different people to one little human. So let us be great.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, tell that story so someone who, is in that similar,
Yeah.
situation, they know
Mm-hmm.
they can do it too. That's what this is all about, to show how
Absolutely.
entrepreneurs.
They definitely can. I watched other women do it. So that's what gave me the hope and the faith that I could do it myself. So
Now, were you all scared, when you did lose the job, to say, will this business be able to sustain itself? Especially now, once COVID hit and things happened, where you had all like, wait, what's going to happen? I've been doing good. And I got a child. What's going to happen? I mean, what were your thoughts, when you lost your job?
When I lost my job, I was super nervous. Just for my child. Like, how am I going to provide for my son? But I know, like, I have a hustler spirit, so it was something was going to work regardless. Like, he was never going to go without. But when it came to 2020, I think because I am a sole, online business, and because I have candles and people love candles, to burn in the house, I was okay. In January, I took like a small break to kind of like relax after the holidays and my son's first birthday. So I was like, I'm not making any candles. It's all about him. And then like when Black History Month came around, I did like a Protect Black Men candle. So that went great. And then I had like this huge showcase that was for like 3 days downtown Savannah. That went great. And then it just kept rolling. So I've never had a moment in 2020 where I was nervous about where the next dollar was coming from. And I'm grateful for that. I know that that's not the case for everyone else or other people. I wouldn't say everyone else, but for other people. But I haven't missed out on anything. I've had more opportunities this year than I've ever had. And I'm grateful. I really am grateful. But 2020 was not a hard year. I was able to basically save up money to put towards daycare, because daycare is like a whole bill. So that was good. It just worked out where, I was super busy. Just out of nowhere, somebody put my name in an article and it just took off. So,
Man, I love to hear that. Now, what makes your candles unique?
I think my candles are unique just because of the angle that I'm at, I guess my niche. So my tagline is scented with Southern charm and love for the culture. Me being a Black girl raised in the South, and I live near the hostess city of the South, Savannah, Georgia. I have like I take up space in a different way, I have Protect Black Men and Women candles that my friend Cinquanta Cox Smith of Coins and Connections, she has apparel and accessory line. We collaborated with that last year. And that has helped my brand stick out. Donating to nonprofits. So basically, my candles are a social good brand. We give to nonprofits that deal with like the jail bail funds from earlier this summer. Nonprofits that deal with after school programs and feeding children in certain communities. I love to give. I love to be a blessing. But as far as the candles go, as far as like the candle making process, there's nothing different than any other candle brand, but it's what we do. And it's the authenticity of our intentions. That's what sets me apart.
Okay. And I know you wholesale candles as well,
Mm-hmm.
but I in my real life, I'm a consultant and a PR person, represent
Very cool.
influencers. I'd like to know, do you allow white labeling where folks can, get candles from you, in a nice quantity, wholesale, and then put their brand on it?
I used to, but due to like the inflation and extra attention that I started getting this year, I had to kind of let that portion go. But I was just contacted last night about a really good white label opportunity, and I was like, I might have to do this one. I might have to do this one for the 99 and 2000, but that's not the price, y'all. It's just a slogan, y'all know it's for the culture. But yeah, no, I don't really do white label anymore just because I don't have the capacity anymore. But like once I start hiring more people to help me, then maybe I'll bring that back. I'm hopeful. I like it. I like that that outlet to just kind of create and let people put their own label on there. But right now I don't have the capacity to do that.
Okay, so I'll let my Irish twin Trump know that he can't get them from you just yet for a second term. Not yet. But
no, I'm rolling with Uncle Joe and Auntie Cam. I'm with them.
Okay, I was trying to throw you off, like, man, I'm not doing no.
No.
But because it sounds like it's not just business for you. I mean, it's really a feeling, and like you're talking about that Southern charm and being you. Now, when you talk about hiring people, how far are you? Are you already hiring people? Are you looking for people? We need to put a call in. I got some cousins. They need to come to Savannah. What's going on?
So I'm in the place where I'm like, I need like one or two, more people outside of myself to help out. Just kind of like on a regular basis, just because it's getting crazy. Like, I think for the holidays, I'm going to get like, somebody to help me like box up these orders. But next year, I definitely do see myself hiring maybe 2 people to just kind of help me get there, because I can't do everything by myself anymore. I'm finally at the point where I'm letting go. And that's a big step in entrepreneurship, like letting go. And, hiring help. Like, I feel like you get more blessings when you stop holding a fist and you open your hand. You get more blessings that way. So now I'm like this. I'm not all the way here, but I'm like this. So when I start hiring people, I'll let you know so you can call your cousins to come on up.
Yeah, and I know your cousins in Savannah saying, hold on, they got to wait behind me.
Yeah, I got a whole squad up here. They can't, I don't know if I can hire your people before I hire mine.
Yeah. And, we're going to talk about hiring, but, I want to talk about what you said about letting go, because letting go in business, and I don't know where you are in your relationship, but even letting go in relationship, submission, folks, I'm really preaching that.
Come on.
Letting go in that arena and saying, I trust this person to do life with them, and you're going to be great, and you do this, and I'm going to be great, and I'm going to do this. So letting go is a big thing. But about hiring family. Now, I've seen she has boxes. I thought she worked for Amazon. She had so many boxes in her vehicle. How do you feel about hiring friends and family? Because it's, certain people feel a different way about that.
I think now, I'm okay with it. I think at first I was like, y'all not going to do it the way that I do it because it's mine. But at the same time, I understand I have to create an environment and a culture so people understand how I do it, so that way they can follow suit. I'm not opposed to hiring like friends and family, because they've watched me like work for 5 years. I put in blood, sweat, tears, pen, paper, money, whatever you can think of. I put it all into this business. And so now, asking for help when people are literally texting me and was like, you do not have to do this by yourself. Like, I'm right here. I'm off on these days. Let me know and I will be in your yard. So now I'm just like, that's fine. Like, can you come this day? Like, I'm at that point now where I'm going to have help. Like, this weekend, I have this big event, but I also have to take like two huge orders halfway to Charlotte. So my boyfriend, who is an amazing help, and even like letting go and letting somebody ride with me to do my business is like a big step. So just even doing that is remarkable in my eyes, but I'm not opposed to hiring family and friends at all.
Okay. And, and I say that because there's help, and then there's, I'm hiring you, because if you already have, your bag and your bills are paid and you're going to help me, sometimes when I need you, it's going to be, well, I got something else going on, opposed to that person who is banking on that paycheck and going to come in and do what they need to do. So it's just where you're at. Now, it sounds like you have a great time making the candles, and I really want to stress that, because I love to see happy people enjoying their life. But let's say you hire some people and that only begets more people, and now you're sitting on Shark Tank saying, I'm looking for an investment. Is it going to kind of hurt your feelings not to make the candles and to be doing other things in the business, because you seem to be enjoying yourself?
I think that's the part that I am not ready to let go of yet, because I know it's a powerful move when you step away from the one thing that you were doing the best at. Like, that's the best thing that I can do in my business is make the candles. That's what people buy. That's what I do. But to let someone else come in and make the candles is kind of like, but that's my job. So, I don't mind. It would just take some time to find like the right person to make the candles the same way I do. It'll just have to be someone who is open to instruction and someone who has like a good passion to create things. You don't have to have a passion to solely make candles or solely be like me, but if you have the DIY Pinterest heart like I do, then you can go in and learn and make it, and who can tell the difference when it's on the shelf?
Okay. Well, and I'm
That's
looking at, and I see everything like a movie, right? And it sounds like your
right.
business is growing and it's flowing and it's just going to do even greater things in Jesus Christ's name. And at some point, it's like, I'm going to have to get a factory. And now the machine is going to have to put that in. And that might be, you might have to have that come to Jesus moment and start crying like, there's not even hands. It's all automation. So I can grow this so that my family and my future children, because, one, you're not done. Two is easier. I
don't know. Listen, I always pray for a son. I got it. I was told that I might not have kids. I have my child. I have the one I prayed for. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Awesome.
But I'm open, Lord, but I'm okay.
Yeah, no, it's good to be open and, let him do what he does.
Right.
But, for that future generation to say, okay, now I have a factory, and I know so many people that look like us, young people who, they're like, man, I got to get a commercial kitchen, Kellen, and things are going to change. And so you might love the candle process, but not necessarily love the business process. So you might say, look, I'm going to hire a business manager to handle my business so I can be in the factory and put my finger in each candle, put that love on there, right? And so just keep that in mind. There's many ways to skin that cat.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I recently started kind of like delegating and contracting people. I used to be the person to take pictures like off my phone and do like a mock-up. But I recently started hiring like a photographer. Autumn Kula, she is amazing. And I've seen an increase in sales just from flipping the pictures. Like, just from hiring like a professional to take these pictures. And I've also sat down and had somebody help me with like my email marketing, which is like my least favorite thing to do. So I was really grateful to get help with that. And the next thing, just getting more clarity as far as like where I want to take my business now that I've hit year 5. Like, I've survived that 5-year thing where it's like a make or break. So now I want sustainability. And I just want a good strategy to take it there. And I can't figure that out by myself. I need someone else to kind of sit down and walk me through that so I can gain more clarity as far as like what I want to do. Because being a mom, being an entrepreneur, my brain is spinning. I have so many things on my mind. I need someone to kind of direct me through that.
And there's so many people you ever need to just run through meetings and say, I need to find someone. Kellen isn't just a professor of PR and consulting. He also has friends and people who, that you can kind of find that right fit, because they got to, it's like dating. You got to find that person who understands you're crazy. They get it, and you get their crazy. And I'm also seeing a lane when you do go back into saying, okay, I can do some white label of deals. Have you looked into the African and Caribbean markets? Because you put your flag, their flag on your product, people start losing their head and start making orders from overseas. Has that, have you thought of that?
I have not thought about that. I used to have a candle called Jamaica Me Crazy, but I had to, discontinue it because I wanted to switch out the fragrance a little bit. And it's funny you said that. My boyfriend's West Indian, so there's that. So I might do something, to I guess
from
show
what country?
Some love.
From what country?
Well, his father's from Jamaica and his mother's from St. Vincent. So he has all of that
Okay.
good love there. Um, but I haven't considered it doing like a specific line and throwing a flag on there. I don't know if there's like any rules or regulations with that, and I don't want to offend anyone being like a Black American doing that just for money. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to make sure that I'm stepping on the right way.
We can talk about that when you're ready for that,
Okay,
because you're not going to
gotcha.
offend anybody. And the only difference between a Jamaican and a Black American is what island or what land they were dropped off. It's all one
Yeah,
people. So
yeah, we're all on the boat. We're all on the boat together.
yeah. So, and people love their flags, and there's so many cultural conferences. It's just, how do
Mm-hmm.
you put all that together? Now, what you're doing, everything, it looks like from your website. What about Amazon and what about retail? Have you explored those?
I've looked them up, but I know that I'm going to need more hands before I touch on either of those. But I do want to accomplish both of those in 2021 or 2022 for sure. But 2020 was just a wild year. This pandemic and everything that happened during the summer just completely took all of my goals and broke them off. Like every single goal, just knocked them out before I could even like go back in the book and look at what I wrote in December of last year. So yeah, next year, definitely.
Awesome. Love to hear that. Now, I know you were talking about teaching how to make candles. Do you have anything on YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, maybe a course on Udemy or somewhere else where people like you're, showing people how to do this?
I don't. I've only done a couple classes. I just do maybe 2 or 3 a year. And I really like the in-person vibe. I don't know how the virtual thing goes. I have a few, fellow candle makers, they do it and they're still doing it. But I like being like in a room and being able to help and make sure that the measurements are good, like stuff like that. And I think that kind of helps me prepare for when I do hire somebody. I'm used to like, saying, oh, that might be too much. Be careful with the wax, like stuff like that. But just doing it virtual and not having people in front of me and talking back, I don't know how that's gonna work. But I have considered it, but I don't know how that would go for me right now. I don't know if I have the
Well,
time.
Well, I could tell you there's so many YouTube channels out there, so there's no
Yeah.
just one way to do it. So you find the
Hmm.
system that works for you. But since you're making candles all day and you're not scared to put your child even out there, but to show that environment, you put a camera, even if it's the phone, right? Especially that new
Hmm.
iPhone 12. Woo, that thing is beautiful. And you put that out there and just
Hmm.
film yourself streaming and see what your audience, if they like it. It's just another check. And there's channels out there that don't even master editing, and maybe you want to have it edited up, but to have a candle network where other candle makers, you can have them, hey, you guys want to chime in, kind of like the Clubhouse. I mean, there's just so many ways of making money nowadays.
Yeah,
I just love it. And you could make it look good and have it be something that is an introduction possibly to your course, because of course you don't want to
absolutely.
give up your secret sauce, but really the secret sauce is God has
Right.
gave you a gift and it's made room for you. But to
Hmm.
share that with the world, I could definitely I could see that TV is always looking for something new too. So
Right. And I wouldn't mind it, honestly. Oddly enough, a local news station did like a how to make your own candle at home, a little quick little segment. And it was like over the stove top. And in my mind, I was cringing because I was like, oh no, what if somebody sees this and they don't know the temperature? Like, oh no, like I was just like in my mind, I was just like clutching my imaginary pearls. I was just, really clutching my little gold chain here, but it just made me nervous. I'd rather be, in front of somebody to help them. But I do enjoy watching the videos on YouTube. Even though I know how to make candles, it's always fascinating to see how everybody makes it different. Um, some people follow the basic formula, some people don't. And I think it's dope, you know, like you said, the magic really is the individual. So I guess I should share some magic with people.
Yeah, and that it wouldn't take too much, you know, depending on how you want it to do it and
Mm-hmm.
what you wanted to invest. But you are a definitely entrepreneur that folks can be inspired by. With all the success that you are having, what is a community give back that you're doing? And I know you've mentioned one earlier, or one
Mm-hmm.
that you want to do in the future.
Well, there is a nonprofit that I am currently doing a give back with that caters to single mothers. As a single mom, knowing that I had like, you know, my family to help, you know, my son and I out. And, you know, not just my nuclear family, but extended family, friends, all that stuff, you know, showed much love to my son and I. I wanted to pay it forward to, you know, any woman that may not have had the same village. You know, some people, they don't have any family, and we're in a pandemic, and in the holidays it's very oppressive, I think, to kind of push commercialism on people. And you know, we're out here in the middle of a pandemic, so I can see where that could be depressing um and hurtful to some people, and even new moms. You know, you have postpartum depression. Not every mother has it, but I know what it feels like because I had it. And the last thing I would want is for somebody to feel alone and that they don't have any resources to provide for their child. So I want to give back in that way. So that's what I'm doing here in December.
Man, that's real talk. When you said that, I was thinking about a veteran person I know, and they no family, all you know, none of that,
Mm-hmm.
and but they have a child, but nothing, no support, no positive support. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful give back. Where can people, you know, reach out? I will have all your links in the description box, but where can people? Where do you want to be contacted if they want to, reach out and maybe have, you know, something special to share with you, or put in a great big order that's going to make you hire, you know, 5 people in the next
Yeah.
5 weeks?
Yes. So my website is ElonWick candleco.com. You can find me on Instagram at ElonWick_candleco, Twitter at ElonWick, and Facebook at ElonWick candleco as well. And of course, feel free, you know, shoot me a message, shoot me a DM. It's me. It's not no social media manager. Like, it's me. You're going to get me all day long until I hire somebody, but I'm not that busy to the point where I can't respond to somebody. Because, you know, like, you hit me up on Instagram because of Clubhouse. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm here. What's up? But feel free to reach out to me, order all you need, and I got you.
You guys have been blessed by the game. You like, share, subscribe, give it to somebody who can be inspired. That's the whole point of this, the show how entrepreneurs started, sustained, and succeeded. Be blessed.